Phasmophobia is a co-op survival horror game developed by Kinetic Games, which was released through early access on Steam this past September. The game places you and up to 3 friends in the role of a crew of ghost hunters, tasked with correctly identifying what type of ghost is haunting the location you've been sent to investigate, and also to make it out alive. It is essentially a ghost hunting simulator with a guaranteed encounter on each expedition, clearly inspired by those early 2000s shows of the same vein, but with a guaranteed haunting experience. The game is playable in a standard first-person mode, but also has the option to use VR if you happen to have a headset on hand. The gameplay is fairly simple, but it serves its purpose well enough. Players have the ability to walk, crouch, carry up to 3 pieces of equipment to use, and if they hold down the left shift key, they can even walk ever so slightly faster than normal. The most unique feature about this game is how it implements voice chat into the gameplay. Players have 2 separate chat buttons to use in-game. The first is a global chat, acting as a walkie-talkie to talk to your teammates anywhere on the map, and another one for proximity chat, to speak out loud to other players nearby, but also to the ghost you're investigating. Phasmophobia uses voice recognition and procedurally generated options for each ghost, so players can say the ghost's name to antagonize it and lure it out of hiding, and also ask questions to help identify what type of ghost you're in the presence of. On top of the voice features, there are various pieces of equipment that players need to use to identify what ghost you're hunting. Every player has a journal they carry with them at all times, mapped by default to the J key, which details the basics of the game, descriptions of each type of ghost, their common behaviors, and what 3 pieces of evidence you need to find in order to correctly identify them. During each hunt, players must enter the evidence on the last page of the journal, select what type of ghost they found, and find out on the end mission results screen whether or not they were correct. Players earn money after each round for correctly identifying the ghost, but also for completing bonus objectives assigned at the start of the round, such as getting specific readings with types of equipment, capturing pictures of the ghost, or of different paranormal actions, such as dirty water or the secret bone hidden in each stage. Bonus details are listed on the whiteboard in the truck you arrive in, as well as a description of the ghost's haunting style and what their name is. The truck acts as your control center, with access to cameras, including head-mounted cams for players if you decide to purchase and equip them, as well as screens detailing players' sanity levels and current paranormal activity levels. Players' sanity depletes the longer they're in the haunted location, which depletes faster when you witness certain ghostly actions, hang out in the dark too long, or have run-ins with the spirit directly. The truck also houses the equipment players take with them on each expedition into the unknown. Depending how many people you're playing with and the size of the map you're playing on, it's often best to leave someone behind to monitor things in the truck. Equipment ranges from simple things like cameras, EMF detectors, flashlights, UV lights, and thermometers, to more paranormal specific items like ghostwriting books, spirit boxes that you use as radios to speak directly to the ghosts, smudge sticks for room purification, and even crucifixes for protection. Equipment is easy to identify and generally even easier to use. Every item has a specific visual or audio cue to let you know if it's going off or not. My usual loadout is the EMF reader, a strong flashlight, and either the spirit box or ghostwriting book. It's good to have different players take different equipment sets so you have the best chance of identifying what type of apparition you're dealing with. Players can usually run back to the truck and swap equipment when needed, so you're not locked to one specific loadout per game. Before matches, players can buy extra equipment from the shop screen with their earnings. Specific items are featured in the default loadout, while others are only available from the shop and must be added before a round. There is no way to buy new equipment mid-game, so if you have an objective that requires an item you didn't bring, you're out of luck. Ghost hunting isn't the safest business, however. Each apparition is generally confined to one general area on the map, and once you find out what that location is, activity often ramps up from there. There is also a specific grace period before ghost attacks really start up at the beginning of each match, but you can seemingly skip right over this by calling out to the ghost repeatedly. Some ghosts prefer to pick off prey one by one, while others have no qualms about attacking full groups. Some ghosts, such as shades, are typically very shy and harder to make appear, whereas demons and oni will be far more aggressive. There's an element of RNG to how ghosts behave, and just because some types of ghosts often act in specific ways does not mean that they will always do the same thing. If the ghost enters hunt mode, you're in for some terrifying experiences. The walkie-talkie will cut to static, rendering the global chat unusable for a time, doors to the safety of the outside become locked, and the ghost often appears in front of players and circles them, skipping back and forth and even going in for the kill in some circumstances. If a player dies, all the gear they were carrying is dropped on the ground near their body. Anything that player bought separately and added to the equipment list is also lost. But on easier difficulties, players will get insurance money to make up for some of the funds lost on that extra equipment. But on professional difficulty, anything you lose is permanent, and no insurance money is coming your way. After dying, players can invisibly walk around the map, but have no access to grabbing equipment or communicating with their party, although they did recently add the ability for player ghosts to pick up and throw around random objects like cans and picture frames. In terms of presentation, I think overall the effort is commendable. Player character models don't exactly look the greatest and have some very awkward animations, but they're really not meant to be the focus. The environments are fairly well detailed, full of different objects and photos all over to view and sometimes interact with, and the enemy ghost character models all look quite good and fittingly spooky. There's currently 7 maps in the game, but some of the maps can start feeling samey after a little while. There's a few different houses, 2 log cabins, a school, and an asylum in the game at the moment. However, the devs do have plans to add more maps as development is ongoing. It is an early access game after all. The website roadmap currently lists plans for a prison coming soon, as well as a mansion and an apartment building, with a few others mentioned as potentially coming down the line. Sound design is also a very strong element of this game, and it's very well executed. The ghosts often make heavy breathing or groaning noises when they're in your presence, and as previously mentioned, certain items use audio cues to let you know they're working, such as the EMF reader and motion detector. There was also noticeable care and consideration for the voice recognition and proximity chat as mentioned earlier. You can tell the devs knew how important it would be and made sure they put proper emphasis on it. Although this emphasis on sound effects and ambient noise did come at the cost of the game using little to no music in the game itself, which isn't really a knock against it, more just something to be aware of. More of a necessary sacrifice to keep the balance of the sound design just right. Overall, I think Phasmophobia is a really fun time with friends. I played primarily with 3 of my friends, so I want to thank Broody, Fraser, and Jordan for sharing the experience with me. If you've got some buddies to go ghost hunting with, and you like spooky experiences with friends, you can't really go wrong with this game. It's in early access on Steam, and for just $14, I think it's well worth the entry fee. And with the devs seemingly committed to adding even more content and improving the game to push it towards its full release, there's never been a better way to simulate hunting for spirits with your friends in a game of this manner. If you think it might be your thing, go check it out. I'll leave a few highlights from my time playing here at the end for you guys to see for yourself.